Personal appeals. John Dodgers just wanted, do you have an agenda for today?
Nope.
Okay. And again, I'd ask that you use the equipment you have so that everybody in town be able to see it. I think it'd be good for everything, transparency, whatever. Thanks. All right. What do we have?
I have a number of things, one of which will be executive session. Let's start with snow removal reimbursement.
Yeah, so that's good. 10,000 more than what we
Yeah. For real?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. The magic.
So that's going to be, I'm positive it's 70, I think it's 75% we get back. So it'll be around the $38,000
Yeah.
mark. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I want to do with that money, because that's not planned in 2017 budget.
Right.
So I would ask that we simply put it into the building escrow account. It's not planned money. That certainly will help.
What was it, 35?
It's like 35, 38,000.
That's money that we weren't expecting, but we got because of reimbursement for
Right.
the storm.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know what we were gonna get, let alone how much.
We have to spend it regardless, so, you know, I mean, clear the snow, so it was simply.
Had to do it anyhow.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So yeah, you don't need a vote for that, do you?
No, I'm going to, I'll push it to budget and finance. Once the check comes in, I'll push it to budget and finance. But that's,
Just make a motion, and we'll need to put a motion and put it in the escrow.
yeah.
And what will that make the escrow then?
I don't know at this point.
That goes towards phase one then?
Yeah. Just so you're aware, I've been named to the county's blight task force team.
You have time for that?
Yeah, it's like once a quarter.
Okay. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Really? You're taking on more? What does that
That's
entail?
something that I'm very interested in, because that's something that you know that I fight very hard for in this community.
What will entail countywide?
Forming a county plan, countywide, blight plan, also looking at different strategies to remove blight, different funding that's out there, whether it's private, public partnerships, grants, et cetera. Looking at what we've done and kind of talking to other communities about the story that we've done. You know, we found one house where we were able to do the work, got the money back, put it into an escrow. You know, and then we just did another one. We just got the money for that one.
Right.
And that was the one that you thought would take
get.
20 years to get
Yeah,
reimbursed.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
But you know, now that you have, you know, you did,
Yeah, no, that's what I
you know, you did one investment, and you know, you've taken care of two of the biggest issues in town,
Yeah.
and have a fund build up to
Right.
keep
Take care of
addressing.
those. Yeah.
And you know the statistics. I mean, I've preached them. I lived and breathed it for 6 years in another community where once blight takes over,
Yeah.
you don't recover.
Address it now.
And there's communities in the Lehigh Valley, you know, where that's happening. Sadly enough, I look at Slatington Borough. And nothing against, you know, the people that are leaders there, but over the years, you know, as a community becomes aged, if you don't stay up with it,
I agree, and Their high taxes don't help either. They're one of the highest in the valley,
Yeah, yeah.
if not the highest.
Well, and they run their own sewer plant, which is burying their people even further, because their sewer bill is very, very high. All right. Borough Hall rental, we were gonna talk about that here, right? So, I thought about this a little bit more last night. I do believe that renting rooms in a new building will definitely be feasible. I really think, after really thinking about this and thinking about your discussion last night, it's not a good idea in this building.
I'm fine either way, but I just thought it was revenue, that we could use.
I agree. No, and I agree with that. I just think, in thinking about it, our commissions are our employees, our volunteers. We can hold those people accountable for getting the lock and door. You start renting this thing out, now, okay, so we might get to know the people of the Democratic Club because the person's been in and out renting it consistently, but now the next organization who you don't know them from Adam wants to come in, and the place gets, whatever, something is broken, or the door's unlocked and it gets vandalized, or they decide to have food and spill shit all over the place, whatever it might be. I think you're looking at an issue, and the fact that once you get inside of here, you can get to anywhere else in the building, albeit the doors are supposed to be locked. But our cleaning lady has forgotten to lock my office door before.
I'm fine with that. So
So-
we'll just wait to the new building where we can actually have security, and we'll be able to track who's in and out because of the cameras and the swipe keys.
I'm fine with that. It's just knowing this building is going on the market within the next couple of months, I just don't want anybody else coming and going on a regular basis.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think once, and it'll be some time for the new building, because phase one is only, it doesn't include all the conference rooms. It just includes the council chambers.
I would rather see, I'm actually surprised that we've never dealt with this before. When it was asked if this was a rental space, I said, I don't know, not that shame. I was like, somehow we've never dealt with that before,
Is it
meaning that no
possible?
one's ever asked.
Is it possible that the basement is, that first room there is a new
So I
one?
can't do that.
Too much other crap down there, right?
Well, remember, so I have everything torn
apart.
apart down there because Jim and I have,
Okay,
it's
I was
been-
just asking, you don't
been
have
a
to
couple
explain
months,
it.
but yeah.
I haven't been down there in a while, I don't know what's down there.
Yeah.
Files and everything.
That is a disaster, because we've been cleaning
Right.
room to room.
Are you gonna be responding to them?
Yes, they sent me an email at 1:30 this
So you
morning.
wanna let, either give them my phone number or let them know, my church rents out rooms at St. John's UCC, and I'm sure they could use the money too, because every church is struggling right now.
Yeah.
So, St. John's UCC here in Emmaus, 3rd and 4th. Or they can just contact me. I might be able to dig up the rates, what it actually costs.
Okay. So at the next council meeting, we'll need you to take it off the table, just vote it down, call it a day.
Okay.
And then we'll.
That will be on the agenda
Yeah, and then we'll explore,
under GA.
we'll
Yeah,
put it
I
in.
prefer to the committee.
And then we'll explore policy once we get the new.
Yeah.
We're overthinking it heavily, this is look at, I'll give you an example. The whole entire way that it even came up was, I was asked to speak at an event at McCungy Institute for this group. And they needed space, asked if Borough Hall was available. I said, I don't know, we've never rented it before. Let me ask Jane. And then that is how it came up. But McCungy Institute faces the same thing. They have antiques in the rooms, they have all kinds of stuff. They give you a key, you go in, you sign a waiver. There's most likely a deposit that you have to put down.
So
Right,
that's the second
right,
group or the
that's-
borough owns that?
That's a separate group.
The institute?
Yeah,
is a separate group,
It's the old school.
There's ways to do it.
Yeah.
You you put a deposit down, you put,
Yeah.
whatever, refundable deposit down,
Yeah.
or,
And they do like birthday parties and stuff like that. this, I would only see it as being a meeting, if we were gonna make it open to the public, just meetings, I mean, parties and stuff, that's not the
And
intent.
once we get to the new building, we'll look, when we actually have the rooms done, we'll know the sizes and stuff. We can rent separate rooms out because there could be multiple things going on too.
Well, yeah, and the way that we have the security set up is, the elevator is before the security door, and you can give people a temporary security pass to get up that elevator,
Because they can't get any.
or that stairwell.
Yeah,
And there's no way, like, the way that we have the security set up is there's no way you come into the vestibule, there's no way for you to get back the halls into the offices unless you're let in. And with the legitimate security system, you can actually cut off times and days and all that stuff with their access cards.
Yeah.
So I think that's the ticket. That's a more secure, easy way to do it.
yeah.
And then people can go up, they can have whatever meeting. The way that and I'm gonna show you what our proposed security, like where cameras and stuff, we're gonna talk about that a little bit today. But the fact that we would want a security camera in every conference room, so that you can actually see, something
Yeah.
did happen in a room.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have, well, you guys know, we don't have anything. All right.
Do we need a motion to deny the request at this point? I mean, not a motion to deny, but a motion to,
I would say so, yeah. I don't know what we're gonna,
I don't think we need it.
well.
We're gonna be voting on it.
no, you know what, you have to take a
actually,
motion and
no,
take it
we
off
have
the
to take it
table.
off the table,
Yeah.
Right.
Don't worry about
Be notified.
it. Okay. 2 grants. So, we've been talking about this crosswalk issue. And, there's all these multimodal grants and all that good stuff that are out there to do construction of crosswalk signals at each of the intersections. Which I think, and I've said it before, I think is a great idea, something that we should do, until PennDOT comes back and says we have to do the complete engineer work of their intersections in order for us to apply for their
Yeah,
grants.
before we even apply.
Right.
Which is how much?
Well, it's probably upwards of $100,000. So Senator Bascola's office had contacted me and we had talked about it, and I told him, I said, part of our frustration is, first of all, you guys put these grants out there and give people 30 days to apply.
Yeah.
Said, are you really, like, how do you expect us to pull that off? But secondly, it's one hoop after another, after another, after another, and why do I have to do engineer work of your intersection?
Yeah.
And
the response was?
well, and he, they can't answer that. That's not, they're the legislature. It's
Just took notes, basically.
yeah.
Not yet.
But Kurt Durr did contact me and said, because he told me, he said, I think we can probably find you a planning grant to fund the engineer part. DCD, the Keystone Communities Program, has funding for something like that. The problem is it's due this month. Now I can pull that off, but here's why I'm saying this.
Second grade.
I can pull this off, but I have something bigger that we've been waiting on. The RCAP grant is out. RACP.
Yeah. No, we always call.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute.
Even the state calls it RCAP. No, even the state calls it RCAP.
They just want to make it easy, right?
Yeah, even the state calls it RCAP.
That's right, that's right.
And of course, in typical Commonwealth of Pennsylvania style, the grant opens today, it's due in 30 days.
Pages.
And it's pages. But this is the grant that will fund construction of buildings. I have already begun looking at the preliminary stuff. And I think that this is the ticket to apply for assistance in constructing the new building. I think that it meets the purpose of the grant. You can see their 2015 rounds constructed dozens of county and municipal buildings. That's in college campuses, city and county in Pittsburgh, the Alpha Fire Company in Littlestown, Chatham University. I mean, it goes on and on.
Anything in the way of that you cut?
and on.
There's a couple from the county, but
There's a couple in the
they
county.
weren't funded or haven't gone through yet.
From the again?
Yeah. YMCA in Lehigh County. Building 21 in Allentown. That's the Allentown School District.
So,
The Adelaide Mill.
so we should be able to use it, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but it's a lot to get together from now until.
City of Allentown.
That's the priority then, I guess.
Mhm.
Borough Catasauqua applied
Thank
for
God it's January.
4.1 million.
Really?
Right.
Did they get
I
denied?
mean, that's the time, if you're gonna have it.
Well, so if it's on here, that means they're considering it. Doesn't mean they got the money yet, but they're considering it.
And that was last round,
Yeah,
2016.
so they don't even know yet?
they don't know yet.
So this was, if we just apply, we may not find out until next year if we get it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So it won't even
But they're
affect,
pretty
it
good
won't even
numbers,
affect
I
this
think.
year's budget, it will be the next year's budget.
Correct.
Yeah. There were big awards for that grant.
Do they have enough money to fund all those, or is it, there gonna be some people out in the cold?
Well, there'll be people on the cold, it's competitive. It's definitely competitive. I mean, when the Main Street,
Does it show how much you're asking for?
when the Main Street building was done, they had waited a couple years to find out.
Well, I mean, but there are a ton of, I mean, if it says grant amount awarded, it means that they got it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that did get it.
Yeah, they funded a lot.
Yeah.
It's hefty amounts too. I
And
mean,
it's-
it's
yeah.
not just 10,000 here and,
50% match?
Yes.
But this is for work we're doing anyhow,
Right.
saving our taxpayers' money. Or Emmaus Borough taxpayers.
Yeah, I mean, these are big numbers. I mean, 2 million, 1 million, 1.5 million, 1.7.
So what's the goal? To approve it, to go forward, or what?
Well, I think it's important to understand it first. I mean, there's a lot I will need every day of 30 days
Right.
to do it, which means that there are other things that we'll just have to push back. I mean, there's nothing on the hot seat right now that needs to be
Well,
rushed.
I said it's good it was January, and not,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
middle of summer or something.
So
no, I think this is important that we need to move forward on this.
I'm going to probably look for a resolution to be adopted in the next council meeting,
Okay.
if you guys want to do this. I mean, I think though that there's some things that we'll need to discuss as far as amounts.
Yeah,
as
my
far as
biggest thing
timelines.
is, can we do this budget-wise without, you know, hurting us elsewhere, or?
So yeah, I mean, here's the thing is, first of all, it's a minimum of a 3-year project, is what it says.
Minimum, so you
Minimum.
can go further out.
Yeah, and that would be my plan, is, you know, just
We have
fund
a
it,
10-year plan
just
to
fund it
do
out
that,
farther.
so,
And if you fund it out farther, and you get that kind of money, then, you know, your match is essentially the sales of your buildings. It is really, at the end of the day, that's what your match would end up being.
So
'Cause those
we're
numbers would
estimating
be-
those numbers to be what, about $500,000?
No, that's just for one building. It's gonna be between 1.2 and 1 point.
Oh, you're talking all 3 phases, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you expedite the process. Yeah, so they don't do just public. I mean, these are.
Oh, they do, yeah, they did the Main Street building, the
Yeah,
furniture
yeah.
gallery.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's a Spring Creek Liberty Business Center that got $3 million,
Mhm.
basically warehousing. Oh, interesting, in Lower Country, that's what I found that out. Yeah, so, it's cool.
Spring Creek.
Yeah.
So, well, how do we do it? We work this backwards, saying, well, how much would it cost to complete the whole project, and then we go from there?
Yeah, and
to
we
see
have-
if we can afford
well,
that
and the-
amount
and the
with
nice
the
thing-
match, and then go from
We
there.
have all that
The nice thing is
information.
we have that information.
Right.
So that step's
Um,
completed, basically.
I just have to put it all together and figure that out.
Presentable.
Yeah.
What would you estimate around, give or take $500,000, where we would end up applying for? 2-ish, 2.5-ish,
No, I was thinking,
3?
no, they're like,
Don't forget our match.
yeah.
Right.
So 1.5,
Is what you're thinking we'll go for?
Yeah, because that we can match.
And that will get us to what phase?
that would finish
Through to fire and ambulance?
fire and ambulance.
I mean, that just leaves police there.
It would be the interior of the police that we'd have to fund.
So that would be knowing, that would pretty much conclude those phases, no tax increase, and get us to where our phases had us planned on doing the whole time. And it actually speeding, well, not actually speeding it up, because this would be probably over 6 years maybe?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
5 to 7?
5 to 7.
And that's right on what our plan was, right? It's just we're getting funding for it. Yeah.
There's a lot to, I mean, I
I
haven't,
mean, that's exciting.
I'll be honest, I haven't read through everything yet. There's,
We have to come up with a lot of information.
yesterday afternoon, I was printing page after page after page after page.
All right, so do you need anything from us today? Or
When do we meet again?
2 weeks from today? What's today, the 4th, so it'll be 18th.
18th, and we have a
And then 2
meeting
days
on the
before that, the
16th.
16th is the council meeting.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King we meet, right? That's Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, I mean, we're here that day. So I'm gonna need a motion from you guys to move forward with the grant.
So moved.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were seconding it when you said it. Yeah.
And I thought he was asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, second.
Discussion,
Aye.
all in favor?
So I guess that moves me to the crosswalk grant. I don't see me being able to,
What is the match on that? Was it 10%? That's what sticks in my head.
I think so on the Keystone.
Here's what I think, Shane. I don't know what you guys think, but do this grant. Maybe it goes smoother than you think. Maybe it takes every minute of your time up. But if it goes smoother than you expect, and you have a week, maybe you have time to put it together. If not, then
Yeah, I
it's the
won't be
next.
able to-
Then there will be the next round.
This one's due in a couple of weeks, so
All right.
we'll just wait for the next round of it. That one comes out periodically, if that's okay. Sure.
I think it's more important that we go through RCAP.
Yeah.
And get that taken care of. Concentrate on
That's
that
$1.5
one.
million
That's a big one.
that we don't have to come up with.
Yeah, and, I mean, there's a lot of street crossing stuff that.
That should be one project in itself where we try to do them all at one time.
Well, and the thing about the crosswalk thing is, okay, so you're gonna apply for the planning part, right? And then that will take the engineer 6 months to do.
Yeah,
And then you have to wait for the next grant round
yeah,
to apply for construction money. And that'll take, it's 3 months to wait to find out if you have the grant. So it'll be end of the year before we even know, or before we get the engineer work done. You apply for another grant next fall or winter. It's 5 or 6 months before you find out on construction. I mean, you're talking 2019
yeah.
before anything gets done anyway with that process, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd like to see us keep the attention on that though. think that is-
I agree, and I think we need to keep that on the agendas. So. All right. Okay, building project. So some of the next steps. Guys are still working on demolition. They've moved into the main part of the building.
When you say main part, where the offices are gonna be?
Yes.
Okay.
I meet with RCN to do a building survey,
RCN is,
cable phones.
okay, that's what I thought you meant.
We have to, so for the security system, we have to use RCN because Service Electric doesn't run a signal fast enough to bounce back to the police station for the cameras. We found that out with our laptop system. That's why we have RCN. We actually have Service Electric and RCN over there.
Yeah.
But we pay for RCN to do the higher bandwidth.
So we're getting a quote.
Yeah, so we're getting a quote for them to run the system. We'll have Service Electric quotas too. While we have the ceilings down, now's the time to run the IT wires, now's the time to run all that stuff. We're also going to be prepping our specs for HVAC work, which is the expensive stuff. And I'm going to be talking to the guys about what we can do with the plumbing. You know, I mean, we're slowing the project down a little bit. I told you before, I'm not in a hurry. There's some of the locations for security that we've discussed.
So what side, outside entrances? Both sides, front and back, and then the stairway?
Yes.
Okay. For now.
For now, and again, those are just,
And then you just have indoor where you can section off areas.
yeah, those aren't finalized. Those are
Bathrooms are here.
ideal.
Yeah.
And then the door for the rest of the,
Right.
and this is the lobby where you pay your bills and you can,
Right.
Yes.
And this is secured door
and I think the mayor was over here somewhere too.
You know what? I don't know that we're going to do a secured door over there because we're going to wall that. We're going to wall that off with cement because the police station's on the other side.
Right.
And, you know, it's a tax collector, and quite honestly, should we be paying for a secured door for him, or is that his responsibility?
Well, he doesn't have one now.
Well, it's also his responsibility. There's plenty of tax collectors out there that pay rent or have their taxes
He's not gonna pay rent.
collected at their house.
We're not gonna charge rent.
And I agree, but my point is I'm not sure how much of an investment I want to make.
Right.
Because those, just for the lock, it's $2,000.
Yeah, expensive.
Well, can we ask him if he wants to, and then when we're doing this project, he can pay his share?
Yeah.
Then it's done at the
But I'm not
same
sure that
time,
we
but he
need-
just pays what he owes.
I'm not
him.
sure that we need to put, my point though is I'm not sure we need to put a secured door there. Because he's gonna have a window and then a door into his office.
Then I would say he doesn't, if he has a window, it's more than what he has now.
Right.
And then you're gonna have cameras of people coming and going,
Correct.
and
What's that camera?
it's actually better than what he will have now.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be his goal, then, like you said.
And maybe one of those security cameras up towards the front of the front. Yeah, but up at the top, maybe we do a 360 camera up there. So that way it can rotate over to look into that hallway.
A camera down here at this entrance?
If that's the entrance gonna be for when we do rentals on the second floor, we probably should.
So yeah, but, I mean, we can definitely do that. I was trying to limit the number of video cameras we
Yeah,
had.
Well, would there be one somewhere where you would get them inside then?
Well, here you go. Here's the
This
second,
is the second floor.
here's the second floor.
So would there be one like,
Did I
Is
put
that
a
a
camera
camera?
there? Yeah.
so
Oh,
we
we
would,
don't need one, down
then we would
below.
have it, right?
What's that?
We have one then.
At the
So if
top?
they go to the second floor to use a room up there, then,
Yeah.
Is that gonna be a straight stairwell?
plus when somebody swipes, you already know who's going in unless they took somebody's key. And then that's when the cameras come into play.
Right. I think we need to have a more serious discussion on that stairwell.
Yeah, well, we discussed that, we just want the simple steps for.
I mean, they want
fire.
to enclose it in brick and all that stuff. And maybe at some point we do that, but I'm not sure that,
Yeah, I
I
just
thought that was
didn't know if
like
it was gonna have
Can't
a
you just put like
landing.
awning over it or something?
A
as long as it's
landing
got
and then coming
covered,
up.
you know, as long as it's covered.
Are you sure? I thought it had to be enclosed
Can't we do like awning?
and 2 hour.
Put rail? Like put an
It doesn't
awning
have
over
any
the
of
top
those.
and then
I
just
don't
do a
think it does.
rail.
See, I
Oh,
thought.
I'll talk to Jim about it, but I don't think,
Okay.
that's,
Well,
some
I was
of,
just asking because the other ones had landings. You're coming in, you go up
Mhm.
so many, and then there's a landing, and then you turn.
We
and
have
go
to, yeah,
more.
I
So
think-
I didn't know if that was gonna be the same setup, or if this is just a straight
Well,
staircase
it looks like
up.
it.
well, so remember though, this isn't the
Yeah.
these aren't the engineer drawings. These are from the
Landing
schematics.
up one,
Okay.
landing, and then-
I didn't
It's hard to
bring
see.
the, yeah, I didn't bring the
Yeah.
80-page engineer.
All right, so stairwell is still a question mark. We would like to simplify it, but we don't know if we're able to, right? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
And these were the CSI recommendations of where to put
yeah.
the,
Well, we made some tweaks, but,
yeah. I mean, I would rather them determine.
yeah,
where
they
to
made
put the
some
cameras.
tweaks, but that's essentially where,
So I'm fine with that.
and I think we changed the outside for now. You know, once the expansion goes on, there's gonna be more cameras that will go.
Just get hooked up to one monitor then, or how's that work?
So there will be a monitor in my office, and the police will have the monitors too. I mean, that's the whole thing, is it's gonna bounce back to the police.
So we receive at two locations.
Yeah, but the other thing
Is
is.
it recorded then too? Is that how it
Yes,
works?
yeah. The other thing is that I can access it from,
So you could do it remotely on a
Yeah.
phone or an iPad or a
Yeah.
computer, laptop, whatever.
which also means that if, let's say Jim Farnsworth is the only person in the building because he's here for a zoning meeting that night, and he wants to look around the building, he pulled up on his computer at his desktop and look at the monitors.
Yeah.
And then of course we have to have a control server, and we'll have that in a secured room. But everything repeats back to the police station, which is what we wanted. Same thing with the actual locking system. It's the same technology as the police department, so that way, all their stuff, like, their cards will work.
Yeah.
And Jay can control accesses for me. The whole idea with the cards is that people's cards are also going to serve as their picture ID for the borough. So, West Barrett, your picture will be on
Yeah.
your card. And I mean, the nice thing is, if you lose your card, all you do is make a phone call to me or Jay, and we disable.
Yeah.
And we get a
If we
replacement.
fire an employee, instead of changing all the locks of the building, which is what we do, we disable the card.
Yeah.
So if a commission has a meeting, the third Thursday at 7 o'clock, you give them an ID card that only accesses this building for a certain amount of time on that Thursday.
Yeah.
And if you have council meetings at 7 o'clock on Monday, all the doors unlock at 6:30. And if the meeting's canceled, we simply go into the computer and override, hit the button, and the doors stay locked. So that takes care of the issue of, did somebody lock the door or not?
Yes.
They automatically lock at 4 o'clock or whatever time
Yeah.
you set it up.
So this whole system includes the monitors, the cameras, the swipe keys, the photo IDs and all that, that all comes in one package?
Yep. You've already put it in the budget under the security lease line item.
And what kind of lifespan do we get out of something like that? Can we
Well,
ask
so
them that, or?
no, we already know. The police department's been on 10 years at least.
So we can get 10
Yeah,
years?
easily. And, you look at a system where you can actually upgrade it rather than having the gut and replace.
Well, in 15 years, it might be thumb scans or something.
Actually, they have those.
I know, but
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying it
have-
might come down in price
Yeah.
or whatever, whereas.
They
before-
have-
Do a retina scan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
T-scan.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a cavity now, that can't let you through.
Phones, HVAC, plumbing, IT. Okay. All right. All right, 2017 goals. So I want to kind of give you guys a list of some of the 2017 things that personally will be working on, and our departments will be, and then I would ask that you and council discuss other goals that you want to establish for 17 on top of things we've already talked about, okay? First of all, I've told you before, and we've started working on the policies and procedures for employees. We have been going at it, albeit slowly, because it's budget season now. You know how this works, but that's something that we need to keep at. List of ordinances that we'll be working on. Obviously, we have the marijuana ordinance. We have the blighted property ordinance. After the blighted property ordinance, see, I think the zoning ordinance and the saddle ordinance, I think they're beyond council's ability. I think it's beyond my ability. So I don't know that we need to get into those at this point, although at some point we do, because we know that they're aging, they're outdated.
There's some changes that need to be made.
You're saying, you think that?
But when I say beyond our ability, what I mean is it's beyond our, it's outside my scope of expertise. We need engineers, we need solicitors to help rewrite those. When you originally wrote your SAUDA ordinance and you originally wrote your zoning ordinance, it wasn't anybody in the borough. You hired a consulting firm to do
for
that.
zoning, can't we have property work on that?
We can.
Okay.
And Jim, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jim Farnsworth knows what needs to be changed. He knows, what issues are. The zoning hearing board will be a perfect resource to talk to, because they can tell you, look, we see more of this than anything, and we don't understand why in God's name we have to deal with this all the time. Like in this particular neighborhood, we've had 20 sheds over the last 10 years come through here that people wanted to put up. And why don't we allow more lot coverage? Or, when you start looking at your zoning map, I mean, our zoning map is pretty good.
Issues we want to address, we want to update them.
And then there's some SAUDO stuff that really pertains to developers. And when I say developers, that's even houses and things like that.
Which we don't have much room for.
Well, but it's even redevelopment of a house that are probably a little outdated. You hear but again, some of it's over my head. That when the engineers are talking to each other, I'm going.
So when you say SAUDO, that addresses everything.
Subdivision,
your
land development.
Your lighting, and
Yeah, it's mostly property development.
okay.
But yeah, it includes the alley, the lighting, the parking,
Safety issues,
all that stuff.
Yeah.
The line of sight, the triangle. I mean, things that.
setbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, like we're talking. You guys have approved, and that's why we had the engineer come to those meetings, because you guys just approved the assisted living house that's going to be out on Minor or Broad Minor. Minor and Furnace, or Minor and
South 7th Street.
Yeah, South 7th. But while we're sitting in the planning commission meeting and going through this stuff, I mean, thank goodness we have a couple architects on that commission now, and like it's a good group. But it's so far over my head that I'm just happy I'm the guy taking the notes, because I mean they're talking about things that the hydraulic pressure of the stormwater going through that basin, and I mean that's all engineer stuff. But when they start saying the ordinance, okay, well they're the ones that are going to have to address the ordinance. So at some point I want to get into that. I don't think.
So what's the time frame you would like to see?
2 years.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
within the
2
next
years.
3 years.
I think 2 years. I don't foresee any other ordinances in front of us that are
Civil service has minor,
are burning, right? Civil service has some things.
just minor.
They have a few tweaks that we have to make. We also have to decide in the next hiring process if we're going to allow non-college graduates apply again. I don't know how much of a difference it made the last time, or not Yeah, non-college graduate, that was one of the things that we
Yeah.
changed.
Set all
But the Act
Act
120
120s.
certification was the biggest change that we did. And,
When are we expecting the next retirement?
well, so,
I mean,
within-
we're full staff, how long do we remain there?
2 years.
2 years probably
Okay.
is the
So we have
max.
some time to make that change then.
Well, we're gonna start the hiring process again in October.
Yeah, the list expires.
Okay.
And the list,
And
the
that's good
list,
for a year or 2 years?
One.
1 year.
the list doesn't really,
Well, it stays until you do the next.
yeah,
year.
the
Well,
list is
people
Well,
there.
they can extend it for a year. but
The
no more
list
than
is
2.
there, but it's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, we interviewed both the candidates in
So
public
you're down to
safety.
where it's not really a list.
We have to start over. yeah.
Got it.
Um,
Yeah.
So we do have to make some tweaks in their ordinance. Not a lot. I think we're just about there. We're not gonna be doing promotions for corporals.
Well, that's one of the sections we need to change
Right.
in the promotions.
Chief Palmer has decided we're not going to go through that process at this point. Which, you know, it's always interesting when you have a change in leadership, how like the philosophies
What is-
change just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, even though the direction of the department stays
Same.
the same,
Yeah.
the philosophy changes just a little bit.
Yeah.
And, all right, the MS4 mandate is another goal, obviously. We have our
GSO.
guy working on it, Ryan
How's it
Palgraves. Very good. So he's finished MCM1 and MCM2. He started MCM3 now. This is where it bogs down. You know, MCM1 and MCM2 are the public relations type of things, are the candy.
That's just all policy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the candy stuff. Now is where we get into the deep,
Yeah.
like the deep stuff of, you know, how often are we going to do water testing at the outfalls? And how often are we gonna be, you know, what's our sediment cleanup schedule? What's our basin
Shane,
repair schedule?
compared to other municipalities, where would you say we are? Are we ahead of the ball? Behind the ball?
I think we're right on target on this
Or
one.
equal with others?
Yeah. So the fear isn't getting this done, because I think we have the right person doing it, and mixed with our engineers, I think we're gonna have this by September 15th, 16th, whatever the date is. It's the middle of September. The fear is afterwards, okay? The plan's in place, now you have 5 years to implement the plan, okay? And you have to meet their mandates. So how am I going to make sure that I am cleaning every single inlet
Yeah.
once a year? And weigh it. I have to weigh it, because I have to report
Talking
every
about the
year.
gravel and all that?
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
So how do you even get it out? What, you vacuum it out?
Yeah.
Well,
we got that thing for did we get a sprayer so that they could, didn't we get a?
yeah, but you can't, but that sprayer blows it.
Right.
Yeah.
You
have to
need
take it out.
a power vac.
Yeah, we have to take it out.
It's almost like
We need a huge shop vac.
I had one, in Berwick, we got it through a recycling grant, but it did dual, it did dual duties.
Yeah.
But it's a $140,000 machine.
How many inlets we have? Hundreds.
383 something.
So what's a city like Allentown do? They're screwed.
Well, they probably have the equipment though.
Yeah, but that's a lot of inlets.
Yeah.
Holy, that's somebody
Well, and
year
so
round.
the city of Allentown still doesn't know how much money they're paying in the fine. Like, they still haven't gotten the final report from their EPA on it. You know, we're doing the oil water separator down at the public works garage, which is important. You know, the plan is what has to go into place now. Is what comes out of it. I mean, what are people going to say when we have to pass the ordinance saying you're not allowed to wash your car in your frickin' driveway?
Yeah.
You know, as long as you can wash your car as long as you don't use soap. Yeah, but that's what this mandate is telling us we have to
It's
do.
not washing.
Right.
It's rinsing.
That's rinsing.
But so you're not it's not allowed to go into our storm grate, but you can go do it in your grassy yard and then soak down
Which if
through.
you're in Bethlehem, they don't allow you to park in your grass
Right,
anymore.
right.
So you can't wash your car. Right?
I mean, it
We'll say pass another ordinance saying you can wash your car in your yard.
And move it.
there are a lot of things that are coming down the pipe.
So is that gonna put car wash businesses out of business?
Well, because a car wash business has their own retention, like their own.
Yeah, they recycle, I mean.
They have their own-
Car wash is usually.
Yeah,
a
they have their
gallon
own-
Per car, it's an insane number because they
Oh, okay.
recycle so much.
They have their own
New water.
retention tank.
That would probably be good for their business.
Yeah,
Maybe we
they're
should
gonna-
start
yeah.
investing.
Well, and so EPA is whacking these towns because they're actually going out when they're doing their audits and finding people washing their cars, and if the police and codes office aren't citing the people when they're doing it,
They are.
then the municipality's getting fined. I mean, it is, it's just,
This is overhanded. I mean,
Yes, yeah, why would we?
Too much government.
and every municipality in Pennsylvania that is doing with it. So even the townships, any township that has an urban, a designated urban area, which is almost every one of them, they're all dealing with the same disaster here, and I mean, they're frantic. They're all in the same position with this. We have to, oil, like, your spent oil, there's a lot of like mechanics garages that will burn used oil. Now you have to get it certified that they're properly disposing it.
Recycling.
Because it all goes back to the municipality. I mean, it's leaks. Municipalities are getting hammered. They're getting fined for, like, there's a car accident, liquid gets on the ground. It's pretty simple, right? So you get the kitty litter, you get the dry clean, whatever the clean is,
It absorbs.
they
you
absorb
sweep
it,
up.
they sweep it up, they go, right?
Well, where you go with that? So now there's policy for that.
There's not only that, but, okay, so fine, we take it over here, we put it into this, and we have a hazardous waste company get rid of it, and that's what you're gonna have to do. They're getting fined because they don't have it in a written policy that that's the way that it
Or they
goes.
probably gotta keep a log on when it's picked up in paperwork.
We have to
Gotta
put,
keep
we have to
logs.
put, I mean, we have dry absorbent, we have the absorbed stuff in our buildings, but like at the gas tank, we have to actually buy the dry absorb and the entire kit and keep it outside right at the gas tank, like right at the gas
Okay,
pumps.
so just go.
So, because right now if there's a spill, if there's anything, they just walk the 15 feet to the garage, grab the stuff, go clean it up. Now it has to be right there. And that has to be located at every one of our major buildings. We have to have portable kits so that when we're out on the street.
What happens when this gets so unaffordable?
Well, that's where it is. And the thing is it's not EPA, or it's not DEP, it's EPA. And what happened was, we've had this, the mandate's been there for years. DEP kind of just went, yeah, okay, EPA, whatever. State of Maryland has been doing this very well for years. EPA got pissed off
Yeah.
because DEP, they felt that DEP wasn't
Bring it out.
doing their job. And now EPA has come in and taken over and is doing these inspections. I mean, they're telling you, like, look, if EPA announces they're doing an audit, you hire an environmental engineer and an environmental attorney immediately and spend $40,000 on them. The minute they tell you that they're coming.
You gotta do that to protect yourself.
I mean, that's what, and that's coming out of DEP's mouth at these training sessions.
I mean, but this is like 15 years old, this mandate, right? I mean, it's.
Well, but they've now changed, the mandate's been there.
Yeah, that's
But they've
right.
now changed, in order for us to get our NDPES permits, it's all changed and effective September 15th of 2017.
Yeah, no, that's what, I mean, it's a long-standing thing, it's just that
These
we're
are all
now
things that,
enforcing it.
yeah, these are all things that we were supposed to be doing. Now, we're not, we won't get our permits.
With the new president coming in and saying that he's gonna cut back on regulations, do you think it's gonna slow it? I don't think it's gonna go away, but will it slow it down? No extensions or anything?
No, and the thing about this stuff is, it doesn't matter what Donald Trump has to say. Every other state has, like, this isn't just a Pennsylvania thing.
Yeah.
Many states have been doing this the right way for a number of years. This isn't one of those, like, newfounded ideas.
Right, it's just in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, just now Pennsylvania has to get off its butt and do what they're supposed to do. When you look at our streams in Pennsylvania, I mean, they're pretty crappy, actually. I fish.
Yeah.
I fish a lot of streams, and I've gone to a lot of streams where we've looked at it and gone,
Yeah.
this water doesn't look right.
So we'll just have to do like we do everything else, we'll have to prioritize and hit the worst spots first.
Well, it's coming. our big thing right now is to get it set up. But we have to make sure that when we get it set up, that what we're giving them is something that's going to be feasible and safe.
And you said in the next 5 years that to be implemented.
Which is the scary part.
Is that a good enough time frame for us to do it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. You know, a lot of it is practice stuff. For example, your compost. You don't think about it, but there's leachate coming out of your compost because it's nothing but rotted, it's rotted grass and wood. So where's that leachate go?
Goes down to the grass down below.
No, the leachate is what stays on top. So
Goes to a retention pond.
it goes to the retention pond.
And then
Does it make it down? Does it make it down that far?
Well, so you got to think about it. It's just like the idea of how are our wells getting poisoned by something that is, 600 yards away from it. Eventually, it makes
That's
its,
groundwater though, right?
but it makes its way there.
Okay.
So what do you do to stop that leaching? Now it's not hard to do.
What do you do, barricade it?
Yeah. Or you build.
Well, we kind of do that where we used to, where the macadam pit is, that does it, but then we move it. So then we just have to extend that and.
Some towns got whacked for their sweeper pile because your sweeper pile wasn't clean dirt. So you take your sweeper pile, you put it up on the hill,
Dump it, right?
you dump it, it rains on it, garbage from it, the bad material washes away to somewhere. Where's it going? How close is the stream to our sweeper pile? I mean, those are all things that we have to look at. I'm not saying that we're doing any of it wrong, but those are all things that we have to look at. Our fire training station, they have to get certified that a trained mechanic emptied all the liquids out of it. They've never done that. That's always been part of the fun of catching the thing on fire and doing the training.
Yeah.
Because when there's a car fire out there, the oil's burning, the gas is burning, the antifreeze is burning.
Yeah.
So they look at it as a live, all that stuff has to be drained beforehand. I forget what fire department got whacked.
Yeah.
Doylestown maybe, somewhere down there. They got whacked because they aren't getting certified that everything's drained out.
Yeah, but when they find municipalities, it always amazes me, because it doesn't, the people that are doing it,
Right or not the.
it's the taxpayers that pay it. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Your administrative order. Attorney Demick and I are working on a few things there. We have a feeling that this is going to get much deeper and into a legal battle.
Yeah.
Either that or LCA needs to get their crap together and start speaking about facts. I think I told you guys at some point that our percentage is 3.5%. Now they showed the peak flow was 5.3, but then they come and throw charts at us based on 2008 numbers that they think we're going to have to pay for 11.5% of all the upgrades for phase 2, which is out of our pocket like $11 million. Because LCA's done this much work and the city of Allentown's done this much work, and essentially, their projections are this, and I got into a very heated battle with
So where are we at?
them. Well, all I want you to know is at some point we may be saying to you, look, we need to take this deeper. We need a forensic accountant to audit all their books. And when I say forensic accountant, I mean somebody that can go in and do a deep dive, which is going to cost you a lot of money to do.
The benefit?
Well,
Long term.
it's a long term. If we're going to, so if I'm not paying them $11 million, you can build a sewer plant for $10 million. The problem with the Emmaus is you can't build a sewer plant in Emmaus because you have to build it toward near water and water that flows, and we have a protected stream. So EPA and DEP would never approve you to do something like that. But for me to pay $11.5 million for the city of Allentown to build their plant, in which case,
Yeah.
We're not getting $11.5 million worth of work out of it. And our contract from 1959 says completely differently that we
Yeah.
don't have to pay that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're willing to be good stewards and play ball, but we're not willing to
Does that
get the ball.
1959 contract expire at any point? It's in perpetuity?
There have been, I mean, there's amendment after amendment after amendment, and that's part of the problem with
No end date for
it,
that
is,
contract.
the problem with, I mean, part of the problem with the agreement is there's so many amendments to it that you don't, like,
Yeah.
it's hard to, they don't know, LCA doesn't know what the hell is current. I mean, it took us, it took Dimmick
Yeah.
how many months to figure out what was current? Because it's, every year or two for the last 50 years, something got amended in. But what I do know is that it still says essentially the same thing, that we're responsible for, essentially 1.4 million gallons on average. And that on average is the key for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when they start talking about billing for peak flow,
Not us.
I keep raising my hand going, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling there's going to be, if we're talking about an $11 million battle here, it's worth fighting. It's worth fighting and fighting and fighting.
It's a no-brainer.
We have to do it then.
So
So that might be down the road.
it's getting closer to looking likely to be down the
Sooner than
road.
later.
Your fire department, what are your next steps? We don't know. I would like to have some kind of answer soon, so that we can take our next step. Whether it's an appeal to the Supreme Court, whether it's, their employees, we're gonna deal with that, whether they're volunteers and they're gonna appeal. We need to know what direction, and I can tell you the one thing that you don't do is, you wait and see what the Commonwealth Court says.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a split court. That's the only way it could be taking this long.
I would thought we were-
The original argument in front of the Commonwealth Court was in June of 2015. Then we argued again on June 1st of 16. Normally they rule within 60 days.
Yeah.
Somebody forgot.
No, they didn't forget. They didn't forget. It's just by being in the room, it felt like it was definitely a split court. What it feels like is that there were 3 people one way, 3 people the other way, and the other guy was sleeping. And
Yeah.
he still can't decide what in God's name he wants to do.
It's setting a precedent for
Well,
all the
statewide,
municipalities in the
yeah.
state.
It's gonna affect every volunteer department across the state.
At first we thought we were unique. We just screwed up. And the more people that, because
Yeah,
every
you-
conference I go to, they're teaching a class on this thing.
Yeah.
But the more people I
Because of
talk to,
us?
yeah. But the more people I talk to, more municipalities I talk to, the more they say, shit,
Yeah.
we're in the same boat.
Right.
One way or another,
Somehow.
we've done
Yeah.
some of the same stuff. Like, we pay our fire chief 20-some thousand a year.
Yeah.
Like, part of their argument is we have a paid fire chief. Well, you know what? To some degree, almost every municipality has a paid fire chief. Maybe not what we were paying Jim or what we
Right.
pay,
Right.
but in Berwick, we paid our fire chief $5,000. He was still paid, in some of these other towns around here, they pay him a couple $1,000s a year. But then they were doing this stipend program that was screwed up. Same argument that's been made. So I think what's happening is they're finding out there's more municipalities affected than
Just.
And just
just
us.
one.
Yeah.
And so where's the line? And that's
Should I show them this?
where it comes from.
It could go in our
Yeah.
favor.
So I went to Coonsville Car Wash, and this is hanging in the waiting room.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, why don't we have something like this?
When
Upper McCountry Fire Department.
And I showed that to Chief Price the other
Oh, you
day.
did show 'em.
And you know what he said? He said, Shane, he said,
Coonsville Car Wash.
here's my problem. He said, you guys have me in purgatory hell here.
Yeah.
He said I can apply for, they have safer grants actually help you buy the materials and have recruiting programs for volunteers or for paid. He said, but what one are we? He said,
Right,
so if
no,
I put up a bunch of
but-
posters looking for
but wait,
volunteers,
But we could take volunteers
well, and he is taking
and
volunteers.
say, with the understanding you're a volunteer,
But here's the
Until
thing
the court
is,
case.
I can't fund, we're looking for volunteers. The fire department needs to be doing that. The
Right.
volunteer fire department needs
The
to do
chief
that.
can't do that?
Well, with whose
Well, the
money?
chief is our money though.
Well,
Yeah.
you just said there's grant, he can't apply for those?
His point is what's he
Well, what are
managing?
we?
Yeah,
Are we
what's he
paid
managing?
Or are we volunteer?
He can't click a box.
But I mean, to bring new people in though, we can't train
I-
people at least?
I just said he is. Like, we've gotten 3 or 4 in the last 6 months, but he can't apply for a grant because he doesn't know what kind of department he has. You have to check the box. Are you a volunteer department or are you a paid department?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Check them both or
Well-
don't check any?
Yeah.
I get that, well, I told you, you guys know, I get that question every year for the liquid fuels.
Well, we don't
Or
know.
the fireman's
fireman's
relief.
Ask the court.
Well, that's what we've given them a case, we've given them the case and they've not given us the
See the case that
money.
we argued for on
Yeah.
June 15th.
What are we
I mean,
doing,
June
fireman's relief, that's escrowed?
We haven't gotten it in 2 years.
So will we get back money on that eventually when this is?
We're gonna
settled?
add, we're gonna request,
ask for it.
we're gonna request it back now, like in the next couple of months from 2 years ago, because you can only ask for 2 years worth.
Because if we don't ask for it, we won't
It goes
get
away.
Who is it?
And how much are we talking? Like 20, 30?
72,000 a year.
And that funds equipment?
Well, it's always, no, well, yeah, it's always gone to fireman's relief.
It goes-
My argument would be that the last 2 years, they were the same status as they were before.
Right.
So my argument is for the last 2 years, we know they're a volunteer company in our eyes. So we should be able to at least get the 2015 and 2016 money.
That's 150,000.
Yeah.
That's equipment that
Well,
we
you guys
need.
are, right now, you guys are
That's
buying,
equipment we need.
you guys are buying things right now that you never funded before.
That's not right.
Because fireman's relief always had the money to do it.
But you can only use it for certain things, right?
Right, but rescue
Things we
equipment,
needed though.
well, rescue equipment, turnout gear, I mean, you guys have been
I'm
buying
sure that
that stuff.
stuff's always been more expensive than the money that they give us. No? It covers it?
Fireman's relief always had enough money to,
Cover everything?
yeah, we've never paid for turnout gear. We never paid for rescue gear. That was
Yeah.
always, the SCBA masks.
And that money, fire relief money comes from insurance payments to the state?
Foreign, yeah, it's foreign insurance, so it's from,
Foreign insurance?
yeah, from, when they say foreign, like from Maryland, Ohio, New York,
Out of state.
New Jersey.
Interesting.
All right, obviously, one of our other goals for this year is to get the first part of the new building done, and to sell,
Those 3 properties.
3 properties. I mean, the South Second Street is for sale. Well, we'll be going up in the next week or two. And a little bit of an issue with it, but we took care of it. The gym will go up as soon as that part is built over there. And then this will go up once we're close to the end over there. Union negotiations, 3, maybe 4, are this year. I will get started with benefit comparisons, calculations sometime in February, so that we have some of that stuff going into negotiations. You don't have to start negotiations until June 1st. We usually start mid to end of April.
People in May.
Yeah, mid to end of April.
We'll knock out the easiest one first. That's what we've done in the past.
I think we're gonna.
Yeah, there's
There's
one's easier than the other.
I think we're gonna have a rough ride this time. I think it has to be a rough ride. The only thing that I obviously ask is that we be cordial and respectful and
Yeah.
stick to the facts.
That's never been our problem.
So,
Ever.
and not be afraid when they say we'll go to arbitration. And if the secretary is threatening to strike, then, or the public works threatening to strike, then so be it. You gotta hold your line to whatever principles you're holding to. But we have to take a look at a lot of other towns and what's going on there. I mean, some of these contracts that I've been seeing
Yeah.
are like,
Well, I talked to you about a couple.
yeah, I mean, like, you're giving 6.5% pay raises, that's nuts. I see what they're doing though. At the end of the day, those pay raises are only really 3.5% or
Because
3%,
they're covering the increases.
but it's covering the increases. But a 6.5% pay increase.
So really, they're not contributing anymore if you do it that way. in reality.
No. But they're not setting, they're not setting a good precedent
No.
for an arbitration case.
Yep.
So, we need to start talking probably in February, March about what principles
Yeah.
we want to start looking at, what kind of calculations you're going to be looking from me, whether it's, let's look at restructuring health plans, look at, pension contributions, look at if there's any studies that we need to pay for to get done. I know like we're paying for the actuary's going to do that the benefit.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I know what you mean, it's the,
I forget what the initials were for it, but it's looking at a person's benefits over the life of their employment and what the cost to us is.
yeah, I know what you mean.
It escaped me.
We're in 5.0.
Yeah. Filing
Can't help
cabinet is
it.
actually hidden right here.
Yeah. I forget what the heck the thing is, but anyway, we know we're paying to get that done.
Yeah.
And hopefully that the information that it gives us is good information that is going to be useful. Now, the process goes, so you don't have to start until June. I like to start beforehand because once September 1st hits, they're allowed to file for mediation. Once now, mediation, we've gone through mediation before. That's
Yeah.
just some mediator comes in and tries to settle a contract.
Which one did we have
He's the
mediation for?
referee.
Which one did we have mediation for?
Secretary.
Secretaries? I mean, I remember them coming in, he was actually.
Basically a referee.
Yeah. He's basically a referee.
We had a mediator this last contract with Phoebe too.
Again, a
Talk to
mediator,
both sides,
yeah,
where are you
Yeah.
on this, and go back and forth.
and a mediator, right. And a mediator is, you have a mediator because of a good faith effort. That doesn't mean that you're mandated to settle anything.
He tries to find a common ground, basically.
Right.
He tries.
The only union that has the authority to arbitrate is the police department. They have to file for arbitration by middle of September. That's why I want to start these contracts early.
Yeah.
Because I think you're going to have some long discussions here. And probably a lot of work to do, a lot of calculating, a lot of getting studies done, a lot of, I think it's going to be a lot of, all right, we'll eat this, but we want this. And when they say we want this, we have to look at, well, what's the cost of that going to be?
Yeah.
Before before you can consciously say, we can do it or we can't.
Yeah.
They have to file for arbitration by September 12th, I think. Now, if they file for arbitration, you can keep negotiating, because arbitration doesn't happen until the next year,
Oh.
okay? In which case, if you end up arbitrating with the police department, you would need to budget about 40 grand.
Yeah, because the pay increase is retroactive.
Well, and it's not just that. We
That's
would,
about how much we
we would have to escrow that, but I'm talking an additional 40 grand, because if you go to arbitration, it's not just, arbitration for a contract isn't, well, I just don't think they should get this. We have to have our economists show, this is what our average taxpayers
You have to argue
pay.
it.
This is what, this is what why they're hurting. Because our mill, right out of the gate, an arbitrator wants to say, well, your tax millage is only 6 mils. And the maximum allowed is 30, so you can raise taxes. And historically, that's what arbitrators
What
used
would
to say.
30 be in a borough?
Insanity.
Murder is
I
what
don't
it
think you
would.
could do 30. How
Well-
did they get that high?
Well, so remember though,
That's like some people's whole income for a whole year.
it's probably more than that.
And then you go
Um,
to school in there.
You take what you have and multiply it by 8, right?
What are we at now, 6?
Yeah, so,
What is our?
Wait, are you,
Oh, no,
is that
no, we're
30
six. So
including the
multiply
fire
by-
tax?
no, that's an addition. So let's just say 6 mils, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Multiply what you pay right now times 5. That's what 30 mils is.
So that would be 4,000 for me.
No, that's not even right. Yeah.
That'd be
Multiply
4,000
by-
for me.
Yeah, multiply by 5.
That's 5 times 6,
Yeah.
yeah.
That'd be 4,000 for me.
For local taxes.
Plus your school tax,
Yeah.
plus your county, you're looking at, for my little rinky-dink house, $7,000-8,000. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and for a
And then
house
that's
that-
when the blight would start.
right, and for a house that's valued
Because
at,
nobody would be able to pay their taxes.
well, for a house that's valued at 215,000, you know, it's,
You're
Yeah.
probably looking at 12,000 a year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because my house is valued, I don't know, 158.
Yeah, what
154.
that 30 mil is really for places like Northumberland County, who they haven't done a reassessment in their county since, I think it was like 1971. The city of Sunbury is at their maximum for millage.
Right, because it's so out
So
of whack.
low.
I mean, they can have a $30,000 assessment.
That's really
So
where,
then
On a
how
house
can you
that's
even
worth
compare
180.
those?
but see, an arbitrator, that's my point. You can't go in, you have to have a professional prove it to the arbitrator. You have to pay for the economist.
So you'd have to show their 30 mils is only $400 a year, but our 6 mils
Yeah.
equals $1,000 or $800.
And you're gonna have to hire our special labor attorney counsel to be our arbitrator, because, so they appoint an arbitrator, which will be a member of the GOP. We appoint an arbitrator, which would be our special labor attorney, and then really the person that decides everything is
The roll of the dice.
the roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's the neutral party.
So,
Isn't always neutral.
so you end up, you'll end up wanting to have your pension professional in there, you end up wanting to have your accountant
All
in
the people you gotta
there.
pay for
Yeah.
extraordinary amounts per hour.
But that's why, and historically, that's why people have been afraid to go to arbitration, because municipalities are used to getting their ass kicked in arbitration anyway, so they spent 40,000 to go, they got a whooping. The trend has changed. The trend has really started to change. Arbitrators have started to really look at the real impact municipalities are facing, but the pendulum still hasn't completely swung. What they're trying to do now is find middle ground. If it's middle ground that they're finding, you could probably get there with the police department, but you're gonna have to decide what your principles are and what you're willing to deal with and what you're not willing to budge from, and those are the things that we'll have to start looking at.
Yeah.
All right, with your public works and your secretaries, you have the luxury of dragging that, unfortunately for them, as long as you want to, until they hold the picket line, which,
Yeah, I don't know if it
um, right. And I'm not suggesting that you go out there and bully them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying things get fast
We'll do
forwarded with the police
everything-
department
we'll do
because of
everything with
law.
facts. I mean, that's the way you gotta do it.
It's
It's
always
the cost of this, this, and this, and they have to counter it.
From a negotiation standpoint, I don't think we could be more fair over the course of time.
Absolutely,
I mean, it is as professional.
absolutely. They're gonna come at you,
Doesn't mean you
and,
have to like everything you say, but
but they're gonna come at you with, Lower McCountry, their secretaries get paid $20,000 more a year than us.
this is worth more than.
Look at their income too that they have.
Well, and that's the
Incomes are
things,
higher.
but those are the things that we have to respond with.
Average
and-
income
and-
per household and all that.
Yeah, and you have to be,
Yeah,
3 times
look at
now.
all the
Value of home,
grants
average
and
value of a
everything else that
home.
they have.
you have to be
Tax
prepared
rates, all that
to
stuff.
respond to those
Yeah.
things, is it. We get that they get paid more, but you know what, go be a secretary in the city of Allentown, see what they get paid.
Is it less than us?
Yeah,
But they have more probably.
well, they're sure they have more.
I mean, obviously, yeah, but I mean, they pay less, but they're able to have more.
And I'm not trying to pick on it, I'm just saying secretaries, I'm not picking on the secretaries.
No.
It could be anything, I mean, I can say that about
You pick
managers, I can say that about,
Yeah.
Yeah,
All things are not equal.
all right. One of my other goals in 2017 is to improve some of our management practices, and you guys know that.
You've been chipping away at that.
And, there are improvements that each of us need to make, a couple of departments more than others. We need to focus on
Leadership?
leadership, and we need to focus on making sure that our managers have the right skill set
Yeah.
to do what they're supposed to do. And if they don't, I think 2017 is the year that we start making some decisions.
Yep.
Because I can only drag it along for so long.
For so long.
We know.
Um,
We know the situation.
So, I will do everything I can to try to give that person or those people the skill set that they need.
And you have.
But at some point, we're gonna have to sit down and have a serious conversation, and I would think that's probably the second half of the year. I haven't given up hope completely. So
You
other,
have or haven't?
what's that?
You have or haven't?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. No, I haven't. I haven't.
Wait, what?
I don't think I have.
Wait, what?
I don't think I have.
Which one was that?
Damn it. So, I guess the other thing, and we don't have to talk about it today, but I want to know for you guys, like, what other focuses you want to look at for 2017? Whether it's within your committee, whether it's a borough-wide, whether it's, you know, you want to see this happen out in town, whether you want to see this happen in, you know, personnel-wise. That's important. You know, we want, I don't want you to feel ever, and you know that I'm the one steering the cart here. You know.
We want to take turns? Like, each one of us say what we.
No, I mean, I was gonna say,
Think about it.
yeah, I don't have anything that's instantly pressing at all. I think that collectively, I mean, we have been moving in such a positive direction for quite a bit of time that, I mean, my goal would be to continue that kind of progress. Sometimes that's just the issues that come up when they come up, you know, and just looking at them, analyzing, flushing them out, and getting the right answer at the end of the day. And
Day by day incident by incident.
I'll piggyback what you're saying. I mean, for me, the big thing is just being more efficient. And
yes.
God, year after year, we're doing something that's making us more efficient. A
Huge.
perfect example, the leaf pickup.
80,000 savings.
$80,000 we saved this year by becoming more efficient.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we know we can do that with other items, like snow pickup. We know
Yeah.
there's machines that can do it,
Can do
but
it.
a lot of the things cost money. And we're doing it gradually as we can. And as, you know, something breaks down, we replace it, the thing we replace it with becomes more efficient.
Yeah, no, I mean.
We're doing it with
efficiencies
everything.
are-
We're doing it with,
Even billing.
like,
Water,
like
sewer,
gas
everything.
and
And like
electric
that,
and
no
all that.
problem.
You
Yeah,
found a
that's
way to get a lower price for our electric, and you found that through research. And council, we do things through debate, and everybody brings different ideas to save money. You know, maybe street lights is another way to go, you know, through LED lights
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, everything that we look at is with becoming more efficient and trying to save the borough money. We've been doing that for how long now? But it's just frustrating though when all your health insurance and your pension costs go up and it wipes out everything that you just saved.
Well, and I feel especially frustrated when that happens because, like, it's all these initiatives that you
We save in
do.
one area and we turn around and get hit in the teeth with
Yeah.
something else, and it's
Yeah.
nothing we can control.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at over 10 years or so, I mean, there's probably, in efficiencies that we've created, I'll say conservatively $500,000 of expenses that we used to have that just no longer exist. But it's probably closer if we really dig down, like, I mean, even if we're
It's
taking
probably higher.
cars that we purchased for vehicles and stuff, I mean, more efficient, all those things,
Rotation,
I
right.
bet we get closer to $750,000 to $1 million. Actually, I bet we're close to $1 million in.
Yeah.
And
And we've been
efficiencies.
weeding out, yeah, I mean, we're updating our fleet. I mean, if you want to call it the fleet,
Right.
the vehicles,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dump trucks, equipment.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a new building up to actually protect our equipment that we had. We would buy new
Yeah.
equipment when it's
Right,
sitting
Right, right,
outside.
yeah. So if you're
So
getting
you're
extra
losing years on it
3
because
to
of
4
that.
years out of a product, so yeah, I mean, there's.
So that's
there's-
gonna save us money in the long haul, and just all those things, and
Yeah.
and Shane with the grant money and everything, it's all helping.
Yeah,
It's just-
it's,
And hopefully the economy picks up and the tax revenue picks up, and that helps us
Yeah.
in the next phase.
yeah,
Hopefully, if anything, hopefully the stock market goes up and it gives us a break in pension
Well,
a couple of years down the road. Right, well, hopefully there's I mean, we thought that was gonna happen this year and it didn't happen. So
like that
maybe,
2-year,
we're hoping.
Yeah.
How is, I heard it this morning on the news, Trump is gonna repeal Obamacare. So how is elimination, no, it's gonna happen. How is the elimination of the Cadillac tax gonna help us?
Some of it's gonna
Because
stay.
they're gonna
Yeah,
get rid of that, that's
so-
one item that they are gonna get rid of.
So that Cadillac tax, first of all,
people aren't.
you know, it's gonna be odd because this Cadillac tax in union negotiations, because that's at the top of a union negotiation is how you word the Cadillac tax because we already hit it.
Yeah,
So what would that mean? So you pay 40% on top of every dollar that you're over the 28,500 mark, right? So like for next year, you'd be paying, and this number is not accurate, but let's just say you're paying $1,500 extra a plan. All right? Because
Per month or?
Actually, it might be close,
Per year?
per year.
And how much do you pay to?
Well, so 40% of every dollar over.
So 1,500 times.
So
how
if
many?
we're at 31,500 for a family plan, which you probably are, with the 14% increase this year, I think we are probably at 31,000 a plan. So it's somewhere in there. But let's just say it's a $3,000 increase. You're $3,000 over. You're paying 40% of that. What are you paying? 1,300?
Times 40%, be 1,200.
1,200 bucks. Multiply that by, you have 40-some family plans. Probably you only have like half a dozen.
48,000.
Yeah. So that's what you'd be paying
'Cause I
In
know
addition
that's
to.
in addition.
So
one of the
even
items
if
they
we-
want to get rid of first.
Even if we manage to cut costs in healthcare, there's another example of getting kicked in the teeth. You save costs and bringing the cost down, but you're still over that
Well, and that
premium,
Cadillac,
and you gotta pay
well,
for something else.
that Cadillac tax was at the forefront of our union negotiations.
Well,
And-
one thing I don't,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
one thing you may not know is, they didn't put anything in that cap, or that level there, to increase it
No,
as
it
the
was-
years go. So every year, more and more people
Yeah.
go over
It
that
was
line
20
where they
it
have to
was-
pay that tax. They didn't say,
it was
okay, every
25
year it
period.
goes up, 3% or something.
The other two taxes
So more and more
that,
people hit it
the
every
other two
year.
taxes that will have a direct impact already are the P-Corp fee and the transitional insurance fee, because you pay for both of those right now.
Is one of those belly button tax?
They're both belly button taxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me that way, because that way I know what
So-
it is.
So the
What's that other one you said? Transient who? Transient belly button?
transient insurance.
Innie's costs more
Um,
than Audis, though.
Yeah. So the P-Corp fee is the research, that's the research, and it's the research, basically the research fee is basically what they call it. I think it's like, there's a set fee, and so I'm saying these numbers because I'm trying to remember, but I think it's like $3 or $4 a belly button per year, which comes out to,
Does that include council members? We're paid.
no,
No.
on the
Yeah,
insurance plan.
insurance.
But, and I'm not on our healthcare plan, but if I was on our healthcare plan, it'd be $4 for me, $4 for my wife, $4 for
For
Michael, and $4 for
everybody.
Kevin. So for my healthcare plan, you're paying, $16. So if there's a family of 6, which, some of them are, it's, it's $24. If it's a family of 2, then it's $8. And you pay that per year. And then the transient and underinsurance fee is the fee that you're paying for people to get their Obamacare cheaper. I think that's like $12 belly button. I know with those two fees combined, it was an extra $10,000 a year that we're paying on top of.
That didn't kick in yet, did it?
Yeah, no, we've been paying that.
So that was last year?
Yeah, we've been paying that.
Last year started.
2 years ago.
Started when they passed Obamacare.
Yeah.
So if those go away, that helps us, obviously.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
I think some of those nuisance
Yeah,
things
the
are going
nuisance
away,
things, I mean,
like the medical
it'll just
equipment
get turned
tax. Some of
into,
those things are gonna go away, but they're
yeah.
gonna keep, like, you can stay on your plan up to 27. I think they're just gonna, from what I've been following it a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
and it seems like they're not gonna just wipe it out. Well, they're gonna eliminate some of the things like this,
Yeah, yeah.
but they're gonna phase in something over
Some of
2
it's gonna
years.
stay.
the problem with
The
getting
core stuff will stay. You're still gonna pay a lot for health insurance. It's just
yeah,
a
the
certain
problem
amount
with
of
like those fees, those aren't going to go anywhere. They're going to have to call it something else because
Right,
as long as the
exactly.
government
Always happens.
as long as the government has its fingers into something, something has to pay for it.
Yeah.
So.
And if you cut it now, 4 years from now, you'll.
But that's the thing,
Yeah.
suppose this isn't
Quite
settled, that hurts us in the negotiations, because do you want to go shorter with them because it could change? Or do you want to go longer because it could change? And you know
Well,
what I mean?
and that's
Yeah, no,
and that's
You
the
don't, you're gambling on which way it's going.
and that's the thing. I mean,
Because you don't know.
it won't be settled in a 4-month period, or even a 6-month period, or they'll try to repeal it, but they won't have everything figured out.
They won't-
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when they passed Obamacare, it came in 2,800 pages and nobody figured it out until 2 years after they
I
passed.
mean, they didn't read it.
It took them 2 years.
And with
to do
it, there was a
After
monument
they
belt
passed
there was a monument belt in Montana, and there was all sorts of stuff.
Nothing to do with healthcare.
In that bill, they traded it off for votes.
Yeah.
Is what
Absolutely they
happened.
did.
It's not just the healthcare bill; it was a trade-off bill.
Yeah.
So-
We're just gonna have to find out.
That's going to be a big thing. So think about things that you want to accomplish this year
Yeah.
in the departments. I mean, I've given initiatives to each of the department managers. One of the things I said was, and you know, me coming from a private business sector, I look at cost savings probably more than any other borough manager you'll see, because that was my career for 3 years. And that's why I focus on that, because I'm trained to look at that. So one of the initiatives I've given them is I feel like we're too stagnant in settling for what we're buying.
Yeah.
For example, we buy all of our medical supplies from the same
Right.
vendor, and we've been buying it from that vendor for years and years and years. That vendor may be the best one out there. I'm sure they
You
are.
don't know that till you shop.
But how do we know? If we're not shopping,
Yeah.
you know, if we're not shopping, at least show me, like, we save
Verify it.
we save $1,000 a year by using this vendor versus these two.
See what's the best. And a lot of times I end up with the same thing, but
Yeah,
But
You don't know
I
until
mean,
you look.
yeah.
but
that makes you feel good because you know you're getting the best.
the
Yeah.
bulk of what you guys pay for, the bills that you get are what department? More than any? Public Works. And they use
Bottles.
a lot of vendors, but they use some of the same, like some of the vendors that you're paying more money for. Now, I've said it before, I don't have a problem necessarily paying a little bit more money to use Bliss Paints or Wentz Hardware. But if you're buying bulk and they're 40% over the next people, you gotta buy the next one because you're looking out for everybody else, not just them.
And we're not talking $10 items, we're
or
talking
you-
$100 items.
or I mean I think.
But you gotta go
just-
back to them and say, hey,
Right, exactly. I think you just have to be straight with them. I mean,
Yeah, look.
I'd rather us use a local business.
Right, but you're killing us.
right, just
Cost-wise.
right.
here's what we've got. And
How
tell
do
us
we
why they can do
justify
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that they're not gonna be able to compete with Home Depot
Yeah.
or a Lowe's or the big chains, because the big chains buy this stuff in massive amounts. I would rather though try to support a local, and our people do. What drives me crazy is that we go there 4 times a day.
Yeah, duct tape, you know, get a roll of duct tape or something.
And-
You see it in the bills all the time.
And so that's an initiative that I've discussed with John. But I've also discussed with John about, you know, like, we buy a lot from Granger. Now, Granger is a company that you can buy almost anything
Yeah,
from.
electrical supply.
But are they the best price company? You know, because I used to buy, when I worked for Fleetwood, I used to buy the same stuff from Dave Carter and Associates out of Harrisburg. And they had a sales rep that actually came to the buildings. And I bought my stuff from him 10% less than I could buy from Granger. And he did essentially the same stuff.
So we need to do that.
Yeah, so we need to focus a little bit more on those things. So that's one of the initiatives that I've given each of the department managers is at least show me that what you're buying is the most cost effective. Now, that could also mean though sometimes that, yeah, Shane, we can get it cheaper, but it takes 4 weeks to get it. So
Right, yeah,
we
time
can't
is
do
money
it.
there. I
Yeah.
mean, there's that.
Some of that involves planning
Right,
and keeping an inventory on certain things.
that's it.
So I'll give you an example. Oftentimes I'll see a bill list and it'll say a floodlight, and they buy it at Wentz, and it's like $8. Or I don't know what the price is, but I know from shopping, you can get them a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah.
And why don't we have a small inventory of light bulbs and stuff, you know, where you purchase it all at once and you have it? Because who wants to send man hours to buy one item all the time?
Yeah, no,
So
I
you should
agree.
have duct tape
Yeah,
and
we should
supplies
have
like
it.
that. Buy
The
a,
question
buy
is,
a
where do we
a
store it?
10-pack of buy a 10-pack of duct tape and stuff like that, and where you don't have to go out, and batteries, I see them buy batteries all the time.
Yeah. there are
You see it
little
listed for a
stores.
pack of batteries, and it's like, well, would it make more sense to buy maybe a larger pack of batteries instead of buying 4?
Right.
That's
I mean,
it.
everybody
Yeah.
knows,
Yeah, yeah,
so
no,
you
all-
need to
all
plan
those-
that. They
all
should
those
plan
things.
stuff like that and have that stored somewhere.
I also feel that we have too many people with their feet in the, or, you know, like their hands in the pie, as far as
Who can do
like the number of people that are buying, you
You
know.
can do it without getting the okay.
Well, I mean, I can't I don't have the time of the day to approve purchase orders for $5. I mean, we'll be
Right.
there all year. But what I'm saying is,
Have
it's
it
like,
less people.
it's like
Too many
half a
people.
dozen guys can go to Wentz Hardware at any point in the day
If that's something
and
I'm
buy.
doing.
Now, they do record their name, so we do know, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
who made the buy, but, do I really need to have that many guys have the
How
ability
much
to go do
time
that?
does that take too? I mean, it's taking them off the job to go buy one item.
Yeah, now, when Alan Lewis is doing a job, I get it. You know, if it's a special electricity type of job where,
You need something special.
you know, or if it's if you know, Ricky Wentz is out there doing a special carpentry job that, you know, all right, crap, we ran into this.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it.
That's a different. I mean,
But
that's
you know,
different.
it's like, why are we buying 1/2-inch screws by 100? Like, I have them
more
by,
inventory,
I have them at
right?
my house by the 1,000.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
like,
mean?
by the drawer, right?
Yeah.
How many sizes there is, you can buy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing is what
No, I-
drives me
I agree.
batty.
Yeah.
So, so that initiative, I mean, that's been
Need
said.
storage room for it.
It's been said very clear with our department managers that, like, the cost savings initiative, I want to
In
see,
your garage will help.
I want to
Put
see
a room in there for
on
everything like
paper
that.
from them, like, look, we're buying the stuff from Granger. I got a quote from Eastern or whoever, and, you know, and look, Granger's the best price. Okay, we justify it.
So with the new outbuilding, we'll have room then, right? We should be able to make room somewhere.
Yeah, look, I think we have enough open space. It's just a matter of,
I
We
mean,
need some
worst comes to
storage
worst, you
cabinets.
buy a
Dude,
shed and
yeah.
store it in a shed.
it's a matter of,
Yeah.
I don't think we need to
Hey.
buy more. I think it's just improving what we have. So that's one of the big initiatives that we have. Another one is selling the crap. I'm not kidding when I say they have 18 months
Yeah.
and I'm coming in with bulldozers. Because there is so much junk at those fire training grounds. It is unbelievable. It is insulting of how much junk. And I'm talking stuff from 1994 is just stored in trailers. I mean,
So you're talking about what's inside, but what we don't see when we.
yeah,
get
you have
by.
no idea.
Okay, so just get rid of the whole trailers.
Well, and that's part of it. And that's why I said we're coming with bulldozers.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Chief Price because that was like, all right, John, in your third week, you're
He's
taking a
throwing
walk
it
with,
down.
you're taking a walk with 4 of us, and we're going in every single building down here because this is something I've been trying to get done for 5 years, and
Yeah.
I've got nowhere. So I put an 18-month deadline on it, and John Dyshall is sitting there waiting because
Yeah.
he would
Ready to
love
go.
to just.
Rubbing the edge.
I mean, we have house trailers that are just storing crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of it's really cool crap, like house pickers or whatever that show, pickers.
Yeah, pickers,
Um,
yeah.
Which leads me to the next thing. I think, you know, we have a lot of things we need to sell, from vehicles to old radios to equipment, etc. Maybe having an on-site auction isn't a bad idea once we got
Once we figure out what.
that building
Where
or
does the money
those
go?
buildings. Well, I think we need to decide that later.
I'm just saying, because.
But there are a lot of items. Well, it's not just theirs. I'm talking, we have police cars, we'll have, we might have pickup truck. I might do, there's things to sell. But why not?
Yeah.
John Dyshall talked about going in April. You know, we're getting rid of the fire department lift truck, well, it's the fire department public works lift truck. But there's a classic truck show in April in McCungy. And when we put that thing out to bid, he said, what better time than take it down
Somebody
there?
might want to buy it or
Just
store
show
it, right?
Just show it and put a thing
For
on there
sale.
that says it's going to be for sale on this date, on these days. No joke. That's what he wants to do. But you know, like it's one of the things I like about some of our managers, especially John Dyshall, is he thinks outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, that guy. I keep joking he's going to go to jail, but it's only because he's so creative in.
That's a great idea.
I said to him, I was like, that's a genius idea.
Somebody might want to buy that.
If it's a classic truck show you want, man, we have it.
We
We have it.
have
We'll shine her up
And
and
if nobody wants it, it's scrap metal, right?
we'll shine her up and tow her down.
But people do buy, I mean, I know it's not a fire truck by definition, but I mean, people do buy.
Certainly they do. They buy them and restore them,
Yeah.
put them in.
Somebody will look at
fireman's
that
parades.
and say, that's a cool project.
Yeah.
What year is it, 69?
59, 54, 59? It's from the 50s.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was wrong. It's
61.
I think it's 60.
68 years old, 78, so around 70.
Yeah, and the classic car is what? Now it's like
20.
1980 something, right?
20.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think is
Yeah, it's
25.
something like.
I
It's
remember
20
my
or
mother's
25
old
years
Yeah.
is classic.
87
Yeah.
Cordova.
My
Yeah,
van's
it's
a
gonna be like
classic.
a
There you
Dodge
go.
bus or something like that.
Yeah.
They call
my
it
van's
a
a
classic car. I call it a crap.
Yeah.
I'll take my van over there and sell it as a
Right.
truck. For sale.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else for me?
I have one. So I went through my old email and there was an email from Jack Stover with an agreement for Canals Homestead. So I just want
Yes.
to make sure that's in the agenda in the future. I didn't get to read it or anything, what he put in it, but that's the one,
Okay.
maybe something we should address down the road and get that in place.
You want me to,
Print them out, I guess.
well, do you want me to send it over to Dimick first?
I think we should look at it first.
Okay.
We may
I
not
don't
need
know if
to, we
there's-
may not need to go to him if
Well,
it's.
he won't,
He
he will throw a fit if he doesn't review an agreement for you.
Well,
No,
give it to him.
I mean, we should
Well,
review it
we'll
and see if there's
review it.
anything we don't.
So I'll
agree
print,
with.
I'll print
See if we
for,
have questions first.
Yeah,
And then if
and
not,
then,
he
I mean, it is
look
written
at
by
it.
an attorney already.
Give it
so-
to him during a meeting so we don't get billed extra.
so I'll print for the next GA, yeah,
Read it during a meeting.
Yeah, by the way, check this.
right now.
What do you think
Don't
of this?
move.
Yeah.
We don't need you for anything else here today, just
Public appeals. Read.
until we turn to him and say, Jeff, can you explain it? What?
Yeah. That's all I have.
Okay, so I'll print that for the next GA meeting. Next GA meeting, we'll start working more on the policies. Well, I'll see where I am with this.
Yeah.
All right.
You need an executive session?
I need an executive session for personnel for about 2 employees.
No action afterwards?
No,
Sorry, John.
Alrighty.
This is essentially the end of the meeting now.